turn on music to distract you off from the background noise. Okay, then I think I'll just go through from GitHub, my own repo. Some notes that I took from just now. Okay, here. Okay, for this, okay, like some people were arguing, saying that like MSF Venom is usually creating a very bloated payload, but sometimes it's due to encoder and stuff, so I'm not so sure. And of course, if you custom write yourself without decoder, it's going to be a lot shorter. So this is why because I'm not so sure if it's a good argument to begin with. But anyways, if you can craft your own payloads in the shellcode, you can do things like a message box, and then it's gonna print some message that you write, and a different kind of message box depending on maybe the type. But uh, for this video, I think I'm just gonna do win execute. I mean that's the only thing that I did so far. So not sure if you got idea, but we're gonna do things like this. Okay. We're gonna call calculator and followed by another argument. So from winbase.h we can see from Microsoft Docs, and we can see the command line, a pointer to a string, and also an integer, to show how do you want to show the calculator later when we do. We can see the command show. It can be hard coded, so show windows. There are a few kinds, like you have to maximize it, minimize it when you spawn the calculator or something like that. But for this case, I think we just do show default. And show default, we have the integer is 10. And yeah, so we're gonna be using this. Yeah, yeah. So if this is a good idea, never mind. Let's go here. No. Calculator. I just want to know where the path is. Why is this so hard? Calculator. Yeah, just Google. Calc.exe. Oh, System 32. Windows System 32. So drive Windows System 32, and calculator. Yep, it's here. So this is the path. And when we do it, we're gonna do it like this. We need to be win execute. To calculator.exe. In a comma, that's what we want to execute. So okay, oh yeah, and what it does. For applications to basically name of the executable files yeah, then you should execute the program. So for this case, what we can start is to know that in this usually kernel 32, the DLL is one of the few DLLs that will it's like one of the few DLLs that will be important in every process. So like if we can, okay, we're going to show this. This one is we can use these DLLs from sysinternals.suite. So let's say we go to tools, sysinternals. You should see it. Yeah. Now it's just listing every process. Um, Shellcode. And for this, that's just I don't know if this would be. Oh, okay. Well, see, you can run anything. Okay. Okay. Anyway, I'll run the process, and then we can use another command prompt to actually see the what DLLs are being like booked. So, and DLLs be shellcoding. Ah, okay, so you can see shellcoding win.exe. Here we can see also like these are the not the one of the first few DLLs that are being loaded. But for us trying to do a 32-bit, so we'll be looking at this instead. And you realize that it's NTDLL and kernel 32 DLL followed by kernel base.dll. This one we will see later on in some data structure. Let's close this. So this is what I'm saying. Like if can list DLLs of the file of partial name is also fine, like rejects I think. Then they will find the DLL that are being loaded. For here is NTDLL and kernel 32. Let's say here. Okay. Oh, and the win execute function is also found in kernel 32.dll, which happens to be here, one of the few DLLs that are being loaded. Like in almost every process, if not all. Okay, so for us, we need to find our DLL, the base address, and the DLL base address is the kernel 32 DLL. We need to find this base address so we can find the offset later for the win execute function. So where can we find this address? We can find it in TIP or the TEB. Like we see from this resource later there will be a .h file. And yeah, for now just check first. So like according to some website, this one they say the data structure TIB is data structure that contains information about the current running thread, and which this structure is also known as a TEB, thread environment block. And the thing about TEB is that it also kind of tells information about where our PEB is, and PEB will later contain information about like the base address of our DLL. Later we'll see how it links. So if we see this link, which I found this in the end, bytepointer.com, and let's try it. You can achieve like TB. It contains kind of like the structure for the block here. Noise. Yeah, here. Type define struct T and structure is here. And later we should be able to see this PB is being like described in the PB is described in the TB at offset of 30. The process environment block. So here, because no, not here. Is the process environment block at offset 30. So if we can find like the address for our TB, we can find the address for process environment block. And the thing about process environment block, like I say, we can actually traverse through inside to actually find the base address somehow. So let's take a look at the process environment block. At this site, it actually says that it's a user mode representation and stuff, but yes, actually this PBLDR data, LDR, that's actually very important. Like it contains this oh yeah, this view is the head. It's like a linked list, and it's the head of 3 linked list structure of this table entry. Hope I can go there later, but let's see if we can actually access this PBLDR data here. It actually has the main record of what modules are being loaded, and remember what modules are being loaded, the NTDLL and the kernel 32. That is where we can find through here. That's why if we can find TEP, we find the PEB, and then we find these data in the PEB structure. It's the entry I was talking about, and we are looking at LDR. Remember, if we take a look at these 3 are the important things later, or actually just this will do. In 86, our offset from the PEB is just 0x14. Okay, so let's see. Memory order. Okay, well, let's go back. Yep, this is the important one that I'm talking about, and that you can see offset is 0x14. And why this in-memory order module list is quite important is because this list actually contains DLL in order that they appear in memory. Okay, so and it's okay, yeah. Okay, so remember this one I was talking about. So DLL kernel 32, and this in-memory order list is actually quite, I think, regular, specific, or normal. Yeah, I think so. Normal. Yep, and the documented that is also valid for all Windows version, at least at the time of writing. But since it's also working on Windows 10, I assume that it's still relatively true for this to be valid. So if we can like access this data structure, this linked list, we can actually traverse through this list to maybe go through NTDLL, the node, and then later traverse to kernel32.dll, which we can actually get our base, because this node actually contains the kernel32 base address as well in this specific node. So here, like we must get the address of PEB, which can conveniently be found by this. I'm still not so sure what this is. I need to check this out. But anyway, just take it that we can really find it from here. And according to the assembly I wrote, yeah, you actually can find. So let's it should look up. Let's go back to paint. Okay. Select all these. Nope. Okay. So if we can find, I do not know what is FS 0x30 yet. I think I'll need to find out soon. But anyway, here we'll get the address of PEB. And so if this points to our PEB structure, okay, then we can get an offset of this. Where do I find it? Oh, okay. No, not this. Here. Here's the offset 0xc from our PEB. Offset is 0x0c, where we can access our LDR our LDR field, which has this structure. So here we can have offset of 0xc, which has our LDR field. It's actually addressed to a PEB LDR data type. So let's call this our PEB LDR data, somewhere here. And in our PEB LDR data, again, our in-memory order module list, which is the offset 0x14. So here, offset 0x14 is going to contain the in-memory order module list. Yeah. Okay, I can't draw. Okay. And yep, 0x14. And later we will need to traverse through. Let's go back to GitHub. Here. Okay, oh, okay, and get the address of this, the very first entry, the head with F offset 0x14 here, and then get the address, which is the NTDLL, because this is the order in which is being loaded in memory, TDLL. So here we actually point to another some data structure with the that is meant for NTDLL and some other info. But later it will point, it's a linked list. So here will point to something that is meant for kernel 32. And later you will see the base address offset of 10, which we can find from this table. This is the list entry, and the offset is 0x10 not 10, hex 10 to 0x18 to get the DLL base, which is our kernel 32 DLL base. Since we are doing 86, it is really just 10. If not, it's like hex 20 if you're doing 64-bit. So later we need offset 10, hex 10. Ta-da, this is what we want. Exclamation marks. Here, kernel now. So okay, so it should look something like this. Firstly, FS30 in the TB, you get nice. So in our TB, FSO, okay, FS30 points to PB in our TB, which will point to our PB structure, offset of 0xc to get this LDR data, PB LDR data. And once the is the address that points to this data structure. And remember this in memory order module list. There's three that I was talking about, but this was the important one, which is a linked list. We can look at this. And in memory module list, apparently they call it fling. Fling points to the first entry, which is I think intended for NTDLL. And oh no, the head is the head of the linked list. Yeah, and after that it points to the NTDLL, which has the information of NTDLL's base address, entry point, and other information. But we do not want this, so we traverse through again. This fling again will have the very same. I mean, is pointing to the next linked list node, which is kernel 32, and then with we plus 10 hex 10 is 0x18, we get our kernel 32.dll base address. Yep. So this is what it can look like. So it's possible to write fs0x30 .ex. This will contain the address to our PEB. Yeah, so at this line, ex now has the value, the address of this block here, and our offset here, which is really small. The offset here of this from this address, so this address plus C, and we store the ex, we actually get the address to our loaded LDR data. And once we are there at this address, offset of 0x14 here will bring us to our in-memory order module list fling data. And this fling data will actually point to the head of the LDR module. So at this address, we will access it and store this value into EX again. And since it's still at the same memory address, we're going to access the value at this memory address to point to NTDLL. Yeah, here, which is responsible by this. And then we access this memory again to get the value address here, which is the next line. And then later we need to add 0x10. Oh no, we need 0x10 to get the base address, which is here. And so we can see that the later on kernel 32.dll base have been obtained. So let's try to simulate this. I'm going to use the shellcode that I've written and just go straight to that part. Yeah. Can't zoom in, but here is the breakpoint. Okay, so for fs, we have everything here. I use different values, but here is register this ex and by using ebx and stuff. So anyway, this is what the code that I actually type in. A little bit different because it's going to introduces more bytes. So you need to do a little trick to avoid the more bytes. So for this, you look at the value of ebx. Then we step into ebx now contains this value, which is the offset for no, is where the PB is right now. And later when we plus C here, when we plus C, we should get our memory address. I think it's the offset of this loaded data. So if we step in again and then we see EBX, we see we actually have an NTDLL here. We should that means we are actually referencing something inside this NTDLL. And then if we step into the plus 14, which is this, we should get our address of this block in memory order module. So let's do it. EBX now should contain this value, and I believe this one is the one pointing to this block. So for this now, we are just going to go on to the next line, which is this. Whatever memory that is here, we're going to access it and store these values, which is the address to the next head, to the next node into EBX again. So we're going to do it again. Step into. So EBX, this value should be our address pointing to here. And again, since this value here is a memory address to the next node, which is what we want, we're going to access this memory and store it into EBX again. So let's come back here. And next. So 005745518 is actually this memory here, memory address here, pointing to the plist entry for kernel 32. Yep. Then just ignore this win execute because that's what we actually did earlier on the stack. So just ignore, it's not part of our target right now. So the next one, from here, run this, not yet. From here we need to plus 10, hex 10 to get our base address. So we do like this, plus 10 and store the EBX. This time when I step into, EBX should point to the information about the base address. So let's step into, here we see this is actually our base address, and we can see a kernel 32 right now, which means we have successfully gotten like the base address. It tells us that this is the base address. I mean, they recommended this, but I didn't use this so far. I don't know how to use. Okay, so I think okay lah. I think that we cut this video here and we try. So not so long. Okay. See you next bit.